I'm going to be responding to a video by a Mr. Theo, I believe it's Theo J. Wilson, and it was done about 3 weeks ago. Sorry while I clear my throat, but I'm going to be responding to this gentleman and give my perspective on this. So, and bear with me, this is the first time I've done something like this without my partner, Joe. So let me begin with this, and I shall start. Now, this was done a couple of weeks ago before, how heavily the legal wranglings have gotten into, and even before, I believe, the stuff with Fox News, and because Fox, I'll get into that later, but let me respond, and I will try to respond. It did make me angry, and there is reason for that, but I don't want to react with anger at this particular person. I think perhaps he has motives in the right place, but I don't know. I don't think so good. Let me show the video, and then I will. I'll give my response periodically through this video. So here I go with the video of Theo Wilson.
What up, everybody? It's your main man.
Now, why is this video? Okay, I'm only seeing that.
Theo E.J. Wilson, and I'm making this video hours after Joe Biden.
You just see here. Just want to. Okay. So hopefully you're seeing this as I'm doing this video, but I'm just going to do it through here, and then hopefully I'll see it later on and see if it's good enough to share. And I might just put this video on private for later and do another video response to this gentleman. But here we go as I begin to respond to this video.
And has been declared the new president of the United States, and conservatives, we need to talk. Number one, I know that we have a few things in common. We're not fans of Joe Biden. I'm not a fan of Joe Biden. And second, we know that both of us, and I've seen conservatives do this, listen to difficult perspectives and hear them out.
Does he mean that leftists or liberals do not listen to difficult perspectives? Because today, often they do not. So let's continue.
I know you're going to do that, conservatives. So follow me on this one, right? The historical autopsy is about to begin on the Trump administration. Where did you stand? Where does your stance in this administration compare to the people who were on either side of the conflict in the civil rights movement, the people who were on either side of the conflict in the era of Nazi Germany?
So is he comparing the Trump administration to Nazi Germany, or even to the Jim Crow South? It's a little bit of a far stretch, and maybe he's saying that the Trump administration, I guess, has a lot of bad things, and that they are immoral. That the Trump administration was completely, like, it was an immoral administration filled with almost evil people, and that should have been resisted. Let's continue.
Where are you aligned with? I know that there's been a lot of talk from conservatives about Mexicans and Muslims not assimilating well into America, but are you assimilating well into America, as America actually is? Are you able to adapt to the trajectory that this country is going when it comes to the demographic shift? Because that's what really fueled this Trumpism thing. And it's a sad thing, right? Because what I know, and it's painfully predictable, is that many of you are going to use your AR-15s to solve this political problem. We are so tired.
Okay, and I'm going to go a little bit further because he's saying that that conservatives, and particularly white conservatives, are going to use violence to solve the problems. And the only two times that I can recall where, that I can recall, people used or even demonstrated weapons was in a self-defense purpose. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't crackpots that use firearms to do destructive things, but yeah, it's not the norm. And are we to be, are conservatives, are people who support Trump to be defined by their worst crackpots? Let's continue.
Of you picking up your guns every time some shit doesn't go your way in politics. So before you do that, ask yourself, are you a radicalized domestic terrorist? Have you let Fox News and your uncles and your hunting buddies make you into something that is a threat to democracy and not a defender of it? Has your religion allowed you to buy into ideas that are erroneous from hilt to kill? Many of you prayed for a Trump victory and you didn't get it. Who are you praying to? How are you praying? And why are you praying in that way? Because whatever it is not aligning to reality as it is, man. I need you to ask yourself something. In a relationship,
who doesn't align with reality? Now, here are the facts in the manner in which I see them. The left controls the dialogue. They control the public square. The left controls the media, and they control social media. And I would say perhaps we could call it the elitist left control both the mainstream and social media. They steer the narrative where they want it to be, and they steer perceptions the way they want it to be. Let us continue.
you have to ask yourself, am I the problem? Am I what's causing all the strife and all the drama, right? Because Democrats, Republicans, and everybody in America, this is a relationship, right? And what we need from you is less projection, more introspection. How am I the issue? What can I do to solve me? What
are there any things that the left can do to have any introspection? Is it all conservatives that have to change? No part of the left has to change? Is everything conservative bad and everything liberal and leftist? And I wouldn't even call it liberal. I would primarily call it leftist. Is that all good? I'm just kind of curious. Let's continue.
kind of static am I bringing to the table? And maybe we can actually heal, because I'm going to tell you this. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Joe Biden. I know many of you know I've aligned with conservatives when it came to medical freedom because I got iatrophobia about the doctor and the vaccine shit, and COVID messed me up on that, right? We see eye to eye on a lot of things, but one thing, I'm not a Joe Biden fan, but he's president, right?
Now that still remains to be seen. He may very well end up being president. I don't, you know what? All this situation, I really don't know. I don't know how this is going to turn out. And I can either accept reality as it is, or I can live in my fantasy world. But reality is going to be reality. On January 21st, somebody's going to be raising their hand and saying that they're president, and probably not a whole hell of a lot any of us can do anything about it.
I can accept it. Can you? When you look at Kamala Harris, she represents the change in demographic, right? That's not a problem for me. Why is it a problem for you?
Well, Kamala Harris is a very leftist senator. When she first ran for senator of California, they ran a moderate Democrat against her, and Kamala Harris won. So They have a problem not with her skin color so much as that she is very, very liberal, and some would even call her rather radical leftist. So that would be a problem more than her race. The other person that ran against her, I believe it was Loretta Sanchez, who is a Latina, are a Hispanic. But either way, she ran against her and lost. And Kamala Harris is far more liberal. California state has become a very liberal, and some would say even leftist state. Let's continue.
I said in my TED talk that if you are against diversity and nature is for it, you're going to lose that fight, right? So what needs to happen is let's look at your attachment.
So, and when he says nature is in favor of diversity, is Japan, and it's, like diversity, people will come and try to survive to the best place they can, and they choose to come to America or Europe or Asia or wherever. I don't hold anything against them, but is Japan part of nature? Because Japan doesn't have that much diversity. Korea, North or South, I believe, if you want to go South Korea, does it have much diversity? Is it just America that has to have diversity? And also parts of Europe also have to have diversity? I mean, if we go to England, London, England, their country is majority non-ethnically British people. Would it be okay if Tokyo had non-ethnically Japanese? Just curious, diversity's part of nature. Why is everyone else not not going along with that nature? I mean, is there any? And I know that I guess white supremacists, so-called white supremacists, point this thing out. But is there anything out there that to say that, hey, people of European descent are pretty tolerant and allow for diversity far more than any other group? Is there any recognition of that? Let's continue. Sorry, I'm getting upset, folks, but it's just kind of on my mind.
Underneath the surface to white identity. Let's do that, right? Because there's a lot of fear. White people are traumatized, right? And it showed up in Trumpism. You're traumatized from white identity. You're holding on to it, like Charlton Heston said, until it's ripped from you from your cold, dead.
Who's not holding on to their identity? I don't get this. Trumpism, there are a lot of Trump supporters that are of different races, and people that support Trump that don't like racism of any kind. But it's all about white identity, holding on to your white identity. Are Japanese people holding on to their Asian identity? Are Koreans holding on to their Asian identity, or their Oriental identity, or their Southeast Asian identity? All right, let me are sub-Saharan Africans holding on to their identity? What is this? It's I don't know. It's almost all right. Let's continue.
Hands. What is that about? What's this NRA thing? What is this paranoia that you have? And it comes from the fear of winning the war of conquest. You're projecting onto black folks, onto brown folks, and things that your ancestors did to make America great again.
What nation, and I ask this of all, what nation was not built by conquest? It has been said that land is not stolen, but it is either won or lost. And all groups participated in that theory. The weak surrendered, The strong extract from the weak, and the weak surrendered what they must. That has been the way it has been throughout history. Some groups have been better at it than others. But to think that you're just projecting, this is to me a kind of moral superiority. I don't know where this comes from, or where this view of history, like we were so much better, we didn't do the same things that our own ancestors did, or that we would have done had we been in the same position.
Right, for the first time. And that's causing you to be a problem in this experiment because you're not unearthing it, and your religion isn't helping you. Your politics isn't helping you. You have a pain problem. You need therapy, and these folks are reinforcing your ideology, and you shifted so far to the right that you've become fascist. As much
Okay, conservatives are fascist. All Trump supporters are fascist. The 70 million that voted for Trump are fascist. And on average, let me add, by the way, that it is not the right on average that initiates violence. On average, it is the left. No introspective, no seeing that point. Anyway, let's continue here.
as you fear socialism, you don't fear fascism because it's a part of who you've become. So hear me out on this, right? Because I know what's going to happen. I know you're going to show up. We see you at the polling places now. We know what Fox News is going to say to you. By the way, I think that they're a threat to democracy. We need to dismantle their organization. They have been radicalizing white folks for the last 20 years, drip feeding white supremacist talking points in the mainstream media. They need to be shut down. But until that.
Now, this went on before, Fox News, the whole Neil Cavuto, God, I can't even, when Neil Cavuto stopped McKinney from speaking. Now, I mean, conservatives don't like Fox News as much anymore. Fox News has lost a lot within the ratings amongst conservatives. So let's continue. I think it was done then. I don't know if he would even pay attention to that, though, the inner workings of other conservatives and stuff. So let's continue.
Happens. Look at who you've become, look at who you want to be, and look at where democracy is going, and figure out if you're the issue that's not assimilating. You need to figure out what you are, because this stuff that you did in the Trump administration, if you don't like my words, if you don't think that I'm being kind, wait till the history is written. Y'all are the same folks who spat on Dr. King, many of you, not all of you, but many of you. And what is so disheartening about all of this is that it literally took the liberal white folks plus all the brown folks to overcome such a racist white majority, or those who were passively enabling of a racist ideology and presidency. Look at it. If you don't like what I'm saying, please understand that these times are not going to be kind to you when it's written. It just is what it is. I'm Theo E.J. Wilson. Like, follow, and share, and ask yourself, am I the problem? Moving forward, conservatives, you got some real introspection to do. Like, follow, and share this out. Peace.
Okay. Well, let me just, I want to play this. All right, let me just.
Good morning,
all right, I don't want to just remove this. Let's remove it. Let's go back. All right, you know what? So conservatives are part of the problem. And I don't know how well this got sounded in or sounded out or anything like that. But yeah, he said that conservatives, we're part of the problem. And of course, he doesn't want you to debate, or on average, most leftists don't want to have a discussion with you. They want to lecture to you. They want you to sit down and take it. And you better not raise objections. One of the reasons for people supporting Trump, the normalization of riots, woke cancel culture, which is really the moral authoritarians on the left. And this is what Theo Wilson is. He is a moral authoritarian. He thinks he knows what is right, what is moral and right, and how you should live your life, and how you should conduct yourself. So I want the debate to be open and honest discussions, something that is not allowed right now on social media. And with the authoritarian leftist in charge, they may not allow it much in open discussion too long and within the public square. But I am committed to open and honest debate and open and honest discussion. You cannot have a free society without it, without a vigorous and protected First Amendment. Once we lose that, I think we're finished. This is Brian with Transparency and Merit. Like, share, and subscribe.